Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and this is going to be the top 5 of the month for the month of February. This is, of course, long delayed, but this is how I'll do it right now. And yeah, let's start right away with the top 10 list. Top 10 list, what I'm talking about, top 5 list, sorry. So at number 5, we have a film which I've always wanted to see. For some reason, I just never got to it, but eventually now I've seen it, and I'm so glad that I did that. So yeah, at number 5 we have Society, directed by Brian Usna. You have your typical this is really not sleazy. It's sort of like disgusting in a way as well, because if you've seen the film, you pretty much would know what I'm talking about. It's about this guy who suspects his family is part of some weird cult, so he pretty much starts his own investigation along with his friend, and it turns out to be even more sinister than he had hoped for. So yeah, but I don't want to spoil anything more than that. But I am so glad I watched this, and the thing is, I ended up giving this an 8 out of 10. The reason why I didn't give it a high rating is because I thought they had something really well going on. Because I would say up until like the last act or so, it is really straightforward, really creepy, really nice build up to the whole thing, which is just it's really eerie and insanely atmospheric. But then they have so many stupid jokes towards the end that I don't care too much about. I mean, it just feels like the last act had too much like comedy shoved into it. Um, but yeah, that's just my personal opinion. But it kind of feels like if David Cronenberg directed this, I mean, it's sort of like it feels like it has some sort of similarity with Videodrome. It's just that Videodrome is way more darker than Society, if that makes any sense. So, but anyway, I mean, I still enjoy the film. So yeah, Society at number 5. At number 4, we have a comedy film from the 80s, which I didn't really have that high hopes for it. I just thought it would be pretty generic type of sex comedy type thing in general. And the biggest issues with some of those like 80s and 70s sex comedies is that it's just a bunch of like gratuitous nudity without any like substance to it. But I mean, you have to have some sort of like nice and interesting storyline to go along with that if you're supposed to do something like that. So, but anyway, the film that I'm going to talk about now is the film called Love at Stake from 1987. Yeah, this feels like I think might mention this in some other video or something, but this kind of feels like, I mean, it has that type of Mel Brooks type of feeling to it. So this is the best film that Mel Brooks didn't direct, or at least that's just how I would like to describe it. But I don't want to spoil too much about it. But this is definitely a film you should just watch without really knowing too much about it, because there's so many funny jokes. Even though there's plenty of jokes, they are timed in such a well way, so they don't get too much into your face, and they sort of like wait for the right opportunity to make the joke, and I really appreciated that. So yeah, Love at Stake, real entertaining, 8 out of 10. At number 3, we have the film called Mobsters from 1991, and this kind of feels like a more tame version of those type of mobster films that Martin Scorsese is known to direct. Of course, this film is nowhere near as good as the Scorsese gangster or mobster films, but this is still a really nice film and has really interesting and entertaining costs to it as well. And Christian Slater really steals the show in this. I think his performance in this was amazing. The only actor that I feel didn't really fit the role, so to say, is Patrick Dempsey. I mean, I don't think he is a bad actor. I think he's a terrific actor, but it just feels like maybe he was not the right person for this role. But even though I feel like that, I still think he did a really good job for what he was meant to be, or what type of character he was meant to be. So, I mean, there's no really like disrespect for the actor in that sense. I am just saying that should have picked another person for that role. But I was also very surprised by Richard. What's his name? Richard. Of course, now I can't see his name right now. Richard Grieco, I believe. Yeah, Richard Grieco. I was really impressed by his acting in this, because Richard Grieco feels like a type of actor that you, I mean, not a spectacular actor or anything, but in this role, oh my god, he was amazing in that role, and he really blew me away with his performance. So yeah, Mobsters at number 3, also a film that I gave 8 out of 10. And then at number 2 we have a western, classic western from '62 called The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Once again, the actors in this really, they are really amazing, and the storyline is really, you get drawn into it, and you kind of follow James Stewart's character on his journey, and his like kind of his fight towards this gangster, this bounty hunter type of guy called Liberty Valance, played by Lee Marvin. And yeah, I really enjoy this film, and the ending is just kind of a bittersweet ending in a sort of way, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen the film yourself. But yeah, highly recommended if you like more of a focus on characters in your Western film. And John Wayne is also really great in this. Even though it seems like a little bit pissed off, but I think his character's meant to be like that. So, and I found it quite funny that James Stewart's character, I mean, it sort of feels like whenever like he got a little bit angry, he slipped out of that Texas accent that he was supposed to have in the film. Maybe that's just a nitpick or something. I know I shouldn't maybe pick on that, but I mean, it's still a really entertaining and great film. So yeah, 8 out of 10. So, number 1 for the month of February. Oh boy, this is a depressing and amazing film. I mean, can't say anything else about that, but I've heard about this film for ages, and I finally decided to watch it. And the film is called Come and See, the Russian film from 1985 about the Second World War, and we follow the character Florian, who decides to join the army, so to say, and he realizes war is not fun, and war is just awful for everyone everyone in the war. And yeah, this is such a depressing ass film, and I, even though it's depressing as hell, it is very well made and really eerie, and yeah, I don't really know how else to describe it, but damn, I mean, if you're depressed, stay away from this film. That's all I can say about it. But yeah, so Come and See at number 1. I actually gave that film a 10 out of 10. So yeah. So that's all of the films that I've watched during, not all of the films, but these are the 5 best films I watched during the month of February. So in the next video, I'm probably going to make another review video, or an update, or a top 10 list. I haven't made a top 10 list in like ages, so feels like that's maybe up next. So yeah, keep your eyes open for the next video, and see you next time. Bye bye.